While you work, 4% of the global GDP leaks away through mental health. Sounds distant? It's not. John, a 32-year-old analyst, clocks in at 8 a.m. By noon, his mind is already exhausted. He stares at the screen, types, deletes, restarts, but nothing moves forward. He's present, but he's not producing. It's not laziness, it's anxiety eating him alive. The World Health Organization estimates 12 billion workdays lost every year. That equals $1 trillion burned in silence, a fire with no smoke, consuming lives and economies at the same time. You may think it's just fatigue, but this invisible drain is already in your wallet, your projects, even your retirement. This isn't only health, it's an economic war turning every mind into a front line. How many days have you already lost fighting an enemy no one sees? In the next block, I'll reveal who this invisible enemy is and how it secretly decides the fate of your financial life. The enemy has a name, reactive field. It's the mental trench where you only move after the impact, never before. Instead of commanding the board, you spend your life chasing fires others lit. At work, your schedule is hijacked by emails and meetings you didn't choose. In health, you only seek help when the pain has already turned into a scream. In money, you discover the blown credit card bill only when you're already chained by interest. Reactive field is the prison that converts every delay into profit for someone else. The more you react, the more the enemy profits from your passivity. Banks with fees, corporations with your exhaustion, pharma with your sickness. Test yourself now. In 30 seconds, write down 3 fees or subscriptions you pay without fully understanding. If you can't, it means you're already trapped in this invisible field. Do you see the walls keeping you reacting instead of attacking? In the next block, I'll expose the psychological root that feeds this field and the brutal financial price you're already paying without noticing. We were taught early on that waiting is safer. Wait for the teacher to call, wait for opportunity to show up, wait for symptoms to worsen before seeking help. This conditioning feels like protection, but it's actually the hidden landmine exploding under your feet. The mind prefers to react because it believes avoiding direct confrontation reduces risk. But this mechanism carries a brutal cost: drained productivity, frozen salaries, promotions that never arrive, and debt stacking up like trenches around your freedom. WHO data shows depression and anxiety drain over $1 trillion a year in lost productivity. That's not abstract. It's the price of your devalued hour, your stalled business, the opportunities you can't see because you're busy surviving. You don't see blood, but each silent day is like a soldier bleeding on the field, not knowing where the shot came from. And every drop lost turns into profit for the enemy. Interest, fees, meds, someone else's revenue. How much of your life have you already surrendered to this reactive field without realizing? In the next block, I'll reveal the tactic financial generals use to flip the board, the same one you can use to turn passivity into command. The strategy has a name: Field of Controlled Choices, because those who define the board don't play to survive, they play to win. And in the battlefield of mind and money, whoever controls the primary moves controls the economic outcome. The protocol is simple, but lethal against passivity. First, constant screening. Measure what you feel and what you spend before it becomes crisis. Second, adjust early. Don't wait for pain or debt to grow. Act at the first signal. Third, escalate when needed. Seek support, tool, or professional before collapse. Fourth, review the map. Look at your health and finances like a general monitoring the war table. This discipline turns you from reactive pawn to commander. It's not about waiting for the system to rescue you. It's about building a field where every move, even the smallest, favors your future. If you don't apply this, you are fighting with broken weapons, and the enemy thanks you for every delay, every silence, every careless step. In the next block, I'll show you how to apply this tactic in practice across 3 battles you face every single day. At work, applying the field of controlled choices means refusing endless draining meetings. You walk in presenting 2 clear routes, both designed to protect your time. From hostage of someone else's agenda, you become architect of the result. In personal life, it's turning anxiety into microactions. Instead of waiting for collapse, you measure your energy or mood weekly. This 5-minute check cuts crisis escalation and saves productive days that would otherwise be buried. In the public system, the same principle applies. Push for early screening, demand integrated care. The more people do it, the harder it gets for the enemy to maintain its firefighting model. You not only strengthen your own position, but also build collective resistance. Here's your immediate challenge. Today, write down 3 early warning signs you usually ignore, in your mind, your body, or your wallet. Then pick one micro-action for each, something under 15 minutes. That simple move is your first trench against the invisible enemy. If you don't dig trenches now, tomorrow the field may already be enemy territory. In the next block, I'll show how this discipline stops being just self-defense and becomes an attack that shakes the entire system. The field of controlled choices is not just a technique, it's a mental and financial shield. When you measure early, adjust quickly, and review constantly, every decision becomes a trench against invisible drain. The individual payoff is clear: more energy, clarity, and productive time. But the true force emerges when this discipline is no longer isolated. If thousands apply it, the system profiting from passivity starts losing ground. Banks, corporations, and industries thriving on your delay face collective resistance. The field stops being controlled by the enemy and starts being commanded by those who refuse to trade their freedom. This is the turning point, leaving the role of silent spectator and taking the post of commander. Every conscious choice is an attack. Every habit built is a trench taken. Every course correction is an enemy wall that falls. Comment: I don't negotiate my financial freedom. Share this with someone still trapped in this invisible war. Attack without strategy is vanity. Attack with direction is liberation. Subscribe now. And remember, the war doesn't end here. In the next episode, I'll reveal the invisible weapon the system uses to keep you in line without you ever noticing.